Good morning, hello, and welcome to This Date in History, also known as TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred to date in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information come from the smart device application Today in History, What Happened Today in History, Historical Calendar, and the website onthisday.com. For links to those sources, the music done by Carrera, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar of the description below. Anyway, I am Alexander, and today I am joined by Lulykins. Thank you for joining in the live studio audience. Anyway, let's jump on up into the history, shall we? As soon as I can minimize this screen a little bit. There we go. Alright, and I'm sorry, Luli, I know you're watching my screen here, or at least this window, and it's jumping around a lot. Anyway, starting us off here in the year 43 BC, the Second Triumvirate Alliance of Roman leader Octavian, later Caesar Augustus, Marcus Aemilius Lepidus, and Mark Antony was formed. Dang. Some of those names I remember. It sounds like Marcus Aemilius Lepidus. Wasn't that the... I don't think that was the guy, the emperor that was murdered at the beginning of Gladiator. I don't know. It sounds familiar. Anyway, moving on up here to 1476, Vlad III Dracula defeated Bessaraba with the help of Stephen the Great and Stephen V Bathory, and became the ruler of Wallachia for the third time. Yeah, Vlad the Impaler. We covered this not too long ago, actually. About like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Isn't that when he killed his son or something? Yeah, and then he was then he went on to be the inspiration of Dracula, the vampire. Jumping on up here to 1648, Pope Innocent X condemned Peace of Westphalia. What is that? So let's see here. Peace of Westphalia. Why is he condemning that? The Peace of Westphalia concluded in 1648 in Münster, Germany, ended the 30 Years' War, which started with an anti-Habsburg revolt in Bohemia in 1618, but became an entanglement of different conflicts concerning the constitution of the Holy Roman Empire, religion, and the state system of Europe. Dang, so that mushroomed. I'm going to put the link to this Wikipedia in the underbar here. So there you go. Moving on up here. 1688, French King Louis XIV declared war on Netherlands. Here we go. Oh, French. Silly French. I think this is the guy, the longest reigning monarch in history. Not just in Europe or whatever, but in all of history. I think it's Louis XIV. You know what? Let's look this up. Longest reigning monarch in history. King Louis XIV. I was right. Okay. Yeah, I thought that was familiar. So, moving on up here to 1688, King James II escaped back to London. All right. So, sounds like he was, wasn't he captured? Or some king was captured yesterday. Anyway, 1778, British explorer Captain James Cook was the first European to visit Maui in the Sandwich Islands, which is now Hawaii. Okay. Well, Hawaii's former name was the Sandwich Islands, so, go over there and get a sandwich. Made with Spam. Ooh, first U.S. cabinet meeting, 1791. The first U.S. cabinet meeting held at George Washington's home in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Secretary of State Thomas Jefferson, Secretary of the Treasury Alexander Hamilton, Secretary of War Henry Knox, and Attorney General Edmund Randolph attended. So dang, so the first U.S. cabinet meeting. That's pretty cool. In 1793, Republican calendar replaces Gregorian calendar in France. All right, so yeah. But don't we use the Gregorian calendar now? So they probably went back. This was way long ago though, so yeah. Anyway, 1859, last weekly installment of Charles Dickens's A Tale of Two Cities was published in literary periodical all the year round. Well, that's interesting. Getting your book out there a chapter at a time in the newspaper. That's a different approach right there. Yeah, we got another historic publication here. 1865, Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll was published in the United States. Or in America, whatever. Where's Alice when you need it? This is her book. Moving on up to 1916, addressing the Chamber of Commerce in Cincinnati, U.S. President Woodrow Wilson declared that business of neutrality is over. The nature of modern war leaves no state untouched. Yeah, this is before we really got into the war. Actually, when did Lusitania sink? May 17th, 1915. Okay, so this is after that. So yeah, shortly after that, we declared war on the Central Powers. So yeah, this makes sense. Anyway, 1922, 100 years ago on this date. Wow, I really have got to start my history shorts here. English archaeologist Howard Carter opened Tutankhamun's virtually intact tomb in Egypt. And yeah, that's 100 years ago on this date. That is wild. And my mom was huge into Egyptology and all that stuff. So yeah, I know she's watching me right now, watching the show. Moving on up here, in 1941, amateur U.S. tennis stars Bobby Riggs and Frank Kovacs turned professional after being suspended by the U.S. Lawn Tennis Association for undisclosed financial gain. Wow. So they were making money and then they got booted. That's, well, they should be transparent, they're making that much money, Anyway, 1941, Japanese Naval Carrier Force left its base and moves east towards Pearl Harbor. Here we go. And we all know what happens in December 7th. So, yep. And then, yeah, here we go. Moving on up here, 1942, Casablanca, directed by Michael Curtis and starring Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman, premiered at Hollywood Theater in New York City, later to receive the Academy Awards Best Picture of 1943. All right. Speaking of 1943, in 1943, MGM, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, released last of 9 Julie Garland, Mickey Rooney movies, Girl Crazy, a film adaptation of George Gershwin and Earwig Gershwin's stage musical. Alright, that's interesting. 1944, Himmler ordered destruction of Auschwitz and Birkenau crematoria. Yep. In 1945, Brief Encounter, based on Noel Coward's one-act play Still Life, directed by David Lean and starring Celia Johnson and Trevor Howard, was released. Here we go again, this guy, Noel Coward. So, I don't know, I still would change my last name if that was it. 1945, Charlie Bird Parker led recording session for the Savoy label marketed as the greatest jazz session ever with Dizzy Gillespie and Miles Davis. Okay. Another historic event here in 1948. The first Polaroid camera was sold for $89.75 in Boston at the Jordan Marsh department store. The land camera Model 95 became prototype for all Polaroid land cameras for the next 15 years. What's $89.75 in today? Let's see here. 89, that was 1948. 1948. It would have the purchasing power of $1,060.40. Would you spend that much on a camera? Like, maybe enthusiasts would, but not for a Polaroid, not for entry people. So, anyway, 1954, Test cricket debut of Colin Cowdery versus Australia at Gabba. And Dad's not here, so I have to say it. Cricket. Not to be confused with Cricket Wireless. Anyway, 1963, Cincinnati second baseman Pete Rose won National League Rookie of the Year. Another historic event here in 1965, France launched the first satellite, a 92-pound or 42-kilogram A1 capsule, Asterix, named after the popular French comic character. Huh. Well, that's cool. Like what a legacy. Being a comic book artist, and then your namesake or your character's namesake goes out into space. That's a wild story right there. Ooh, the Heisman Trophy here. 1968, 34th Heisman Trophy Award. O.J. Simpson of Southern California, RB. Running back, I think. I'm not sure. But man, oh man. Yeah, and then not too long later, he did something a little weird. So, anyway, moving on up to 1976, British punk rockers Sex Pistols released their debut single, Anarchy, in the UK. Yeah, well, they're about to get their wish. So, 1976, former West German Chancellor Willy Brandt was elected chairman of the Socialist International from 1976 through 1992. Oh, yeah, well, West Germany, why are they going socialist, though? Like, I thought that was the good guys. Anyway, 1976, Ringo Starr released single Hey Baby. Alright. 1980, Mike Schmidt was unanimous choice as National League Most Valuable Player. He looks a little bit familiar. And anyway, I see there's messages going on. Yeah, there we go. 1982, Howard Cosell called his last fights after being disguised. Okay, hold on, let me try this again. 1982, Howard Cosell called his last fight after being disgusted by Larry Holmes' Tex Cobb mismatch. Wonder what happened with that. Got some more sports history here. 1984, after 518 goals in 14 years with Montreal Canadiens, Guy Lafleur retired abruptly. So just suddenly, I'm going home. So, yep, sometimes you need to do that. 1984, Kim Hughes tearfully resigned as Australian cricket captain. Huh. Kind of has a little bit of the, what's his face? From Top Gear. The old guy. I don't remember. Kind of has his hair. So, anyway, 1985, Random House bought Richard Nixon's memories for $3 million. Or memoirs. Yeah, that was weird. How do you buy somebody's memories? But yeah, they bought his memoirs for $3 million. That's some expensive memoirs right there. Moving on up into 1989, India's Congress Party, led by then Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, lost the general election to an opposition front led by VP Singh. Okay. Billboard Music Awards here, 1990. First Billboard Music Awards, MC Hammer and Janet Jackson won. MC Hammer? Like, that's surprising. He was like from the 70s, early 80s. What's he still doing around in the 90s? But hey, cool. I guess it is Hammer time. 1990 as well, Mikhail Gorbachev told Iraq to get out of Kuwait. Yeah, seriously. Like, Iraq, get out of Kuwait. Even the Soviets are like, yo guys, like, chill. We got an NFL record here, 1995. Dolphins quarterback Dan Marino set an NFL record with 343rd touchdown pass. That's a lot of passes. We got a 1995 here, Federation Cup Women's Tennis at Valencia, Spain. Conchitia Martinez defeated U.S. Mary Jo Fernandez 6-3, 6-4 to give Spain an unassailable 3-0 lead, ending with a 3-2, and their fourth title. 1998, Tony Blair became the first Prime Minister of the United Kingdom to address the Republic of Ireland's Parliament. Dang. And I say this every time this is brought up. Ireland should be free, so should Scotland. Britain should just, be themselves. Stop conquering other people. 1999, Steve Yzerman scored his 600th career goal. That's a lot of hockey goals right there. Jumping on up into the next millennium in 2007, Like You'll Never See Me Again, single released by Alicia Keys, NAACP Image Awards Outstanding Music Video, Outstanding Song 2008, and Billboard Song of the Year 2008. For such a progressive group, I don't know why they still call themselves colored people. The National American Association of Colored People, like NAACP, why don't they just, go all, National Association of African Americans, like what Dr. Cox said in Scrubs. I support that acronym a whole lot better than this one. It's 2022. Why are we still using CP? No, well, anyway. 2010, Christopher Hitchens and Tony Blair debated, is religion a force for good in the world, in a Monk debate, Toronto, Canada. That is an interesting debate right there. Yeah. Anyway, 2013, due to a street triad captured on video, Alec Baldwin's show Up Late with Alec Baldwin is canceled after only 5 episodes. Yep, and then he went on to shoot somebody on the set. 2017, British Mercedes driver Lewis Hamilton finished second in season-ending Abu Dhabi Grand Prix at Yas Marina Circuit to claim his 4th F1 World Drivers' Championship. Wins title by 46 points from Sebastian Vettel. Got a film premiere here in 2018, a DC superhero film Aquaman, directed by James Wan, starring Jason Momoa and Amber Heard, premiered in London. Well, Amber Heard. Yeah, Amber's Heard. More like it. And then, let's see here. 2020, Turkey gave life sentences to 337 military officers and other involved in the 2016 coup. Dang. Before we move on to the person desk audience, were there any articles that grabbed your attention more than most? Anything that you wish we had elaborated more on? Anything that you would like to add on? Start a dialogue down in the comment section. Jumping on up into bursts, starting us off in the year 1288, we have Go-Daigo, was a 96th emperor of Japan from 1318 through 1339, born in Kyoto, Japan, dying in 1339. We also have Ellen G. White, 1827, an American religious leader and co-founder of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, born in Gorham, Maine, dying in 1915. Albert B. Fall, 1861, an American senator, Republic, New Mexico, from 1912 through 21, and U.S. Secretary of the Interior from 1921 through 23, convicted for his part in the Teapot Dome scandal. He was born in Frankfort, Kentucky, dying in 1944. Oh, dang, he was involved in the Teapot Dome. That's not good. We got Willis Carrier, 1876, an American engineer, developed modern air conditioning. Thank you. Born in Angola, New York, dying in 1950. Without this guy, the world would be a vastly different place. Like, I honestly don't know what we would do without AC. Although I don't really get it, but, you know, out here in the desert, you need it. Norbert Wiener, 1894, a U.S. mathematician who founded cybernetics, born in Columbia, Missouri, dying in 1964. Founded cybernetics. That's a feat right there. Got Carl Ziegler, 1898, a German chemist and Nobel laureate, polymers, born in Hesse, German Empire, dying in 1973. So he did work with polymers and stuff. That's really cool. Who else was born on this date? Charles M. Schulz. Ooh, I know this guy. Not personally, I know of him. Born on this day, 1922, 100 years ago on this day. That is pretty cool. He was a U.S. cartoonist. Peanuts, you know, Charlie Brown, Lucy, you know, Kick the Football. This is the guy. He was born in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and he died in the year 2000. I remember that. I was 13. So, moving on up into 1925, we have Gregorio Olivares, was a Uruguayan dictator and president of Uruguay from 1981 through 85. Born in Montevideo, Uruguay, dying in 2016. We also have Robert Goulet, 1933, a U.S. Tony and Grammy Award-winning singer, stage, and screen actor. Camelot's If Ever I Would Love You, or Leave You, born in Lawrence, Massachusetts, dying in 2007. We got Tina Turner, hey, 1939, a U.S. singer. Ike and Tina, Proud Mary, solo, What's Love Got to Do With It? What's Love Got to Do With It? Born in Nutbush, they gotta change that name. Tennessee. Oh God, my home state has a city named Nutbush. That's concerning. At least it's better than Swastika, Canada. So, anyway, moving on up into let's see here. There we go. 1975, DJ Khaled. Yeah. Talking about birthdays, have another one. He is a U.S. DJ, record producer, and rapper. I'm the One and Higher. Born in New Orleans, Louisiana. And he's 47 today, so happy birthday. Who else do we have here? Rita Ora, 1990, a British Kosovoan singer-songwriter, hot right now, Let You Love Me. Born in Pristina, Kosovo, Yugoslavia, 32 today. Wow. Okay. Then, moving on into deaths, starting us off in the year 399, we have Siricius, was a pope from 384 through 99, and a saint whose feast day is November 26, died at about the age of 65. So, well, his feast day is also his death day, so, or at least his the calendar date. That's interesting. I wondered, like, if they were celebrating his life. Though that'd be weird. You think you celebrated on his birthday, not his death day. But anyway, Isabella I of Castile died on this date in 1504. She was a queen of Castile from 1479 through 1504. Patron of Christopher Columbus, who initiated the Spanish Inquisition with husband Ferdinand II of Aragon, died at the age of 53. And not to burst on the bubble of the meme, but you know, the whole thing about no one expects the Spanish Inquisition. Well, they actually, like, apparently, I haven't looked into this myself, but from my understanding, they gave plenty of forewarning for people to either convert or leave. So they didn't just, like, pop in and be like, we're the Spanish Inquisition. Anyway, moving on up here to 1883, we have Sojourner Truth, a black U.S. citizen, abolitionist, and feminist, died at the age of 86. Dang. We got Reinhard Scheer, 1928, a German admiral and commander of the High Seas Fleet in World War I, Battle of Jutland. That's a big battle. Died at the age of 65. Tommy Dorsey died on this date in 1956. Was a U.S. trombonist and big band leader. Opus number 1, I'll Never Smile Again. Yes, indeed. Died at the age of 51. Then we also have, here we go, Philippe de Broca, 2004. French film director Le Bessou died at the age of 71. Yep. And we also have Bernardo Bertolucci, 2018, was an Italian director. Last Tango in Paris, The Last Emperor, died of lung cancer at the age of 77. Stephen Sondheim, 2021, at this time last year, a U.S. Tony Award and Pulitzer Prize winning theater composer and lyricist. West Side Story, Sunday in the Park with George, A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum, as well as Gypsy, to name a few, it seems. Died at the age of 91, so at least he lived a pretty good full life right there. Anyway, that shall conclude the show. Once again, you can check the underbar of the description for any links you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. For your dose of Passive Events Daily, we stream every day at 10 in the morning Pacific Time. For all of you and all of us, I was A.O. Xander, and you, of course, are you. And in the live studio audience, we have Lolykins. Thank you very much for joining. Anyway, until you catch us tomorrow, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Until then, toodles!